Welcome to I Ching Mashup with Michele and Lisa. I'm Michele.
And I'm Lisa. Together we explore the ancient wisdom of the I Ching and mash it up with real modern life, our questions, our challenges, and our breakthroughs.
Take a breath, get curious, and let's see what the hexagrams have to say today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into I Ching Mashup with Michele and Lisa. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Michele.
And we've been having the best, most in-depth conversation ahead of bringing you all into it. But I think this one's going to be really fun.
I hope so.
I hope so. It's always fun.
I need some fun right now. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So we've been talking about, as you all, if you've been following along, we're preparing for our summit presentation. We're really focusing, dialing in on that. But there's so many distractions going on, coming in from everywhere, like social media. Yeah.
On the world stage and also a personal stage. I mean, I think you said it best earlier. You have too many tabs open.
Yes. Yes. So we started our conversation out today, and as you know, Michele and I, we're not neighbors, like in the sense that we can go to each other's houses or a shared podcast studio where we always hang out together over Zoom virtually. And I was having a conversation. We were trying to put together some of our prep work, and I couldn't find Michele on Zoom because I had too many tabs open. And my
I
brain,
couldn't hear you. Like you
yeah,
went completely silent.
yeah.
Like your computer was like, no more, too many tabs open.
Yes. Yeah. My computer, it sounds like it's got an airplane engine and it might take off. And there's just so much going on. Like I love all the technological advancements, but my brain and my computer have so many projects circulating. I've got, one tab that's doing projects for my design projects and one tab that's got my personal stuff open. And then Michele and I have 20 tabs from this morning's session.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same way. I have too many tabs open,
Yeah,
definitely, from all angles.
from all
And
angles.
the last couple days, just with the world news and the national news, there's been some big things drop, more distractions to take my time to research, right?
Yes,
And it's taking me
yes,
off task. It's taking me out of what's really important to me. And I need to figure out, and we were talking about this, like, how do we not be so distracted? Like,
yeah, yeah,
how do we close some tabs so we can focus on our true path?
yeah. And why do we, I don't know, like how much of someone else's truth has to become our truth, just because they're saying it. It's like, I rebuke that. I am not participating in any lockdown situation. And I like,
Yeah,
go ahead. And if an alien knocks on my window right now, I'm not going to be surprised. So,
I
while I
know.
appreciate that, um,
I don't know. If an
disclosure,
alien literally knocked on my window, I might be a little surprised. I think if anybody knocked on my window, it would surprise me.
yeah, if you're in a second story, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just different times that we live in, and yet we still have to forge forward and maintain our alignment with who we are at the core and what is our life purpose. And if you've done any of watching and or listening to any of our episodes, um, that's what we're all about, really, right?
Hmm.
So how much of this, like, do we have to choose? And so we were playing around with the concept of, choosing, what do we say? Choosing your own adventure, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Choose your own adventure.
Yes.
Instead of having other entities plan your adventure for you and then you feeling like shit, well, I don't really want to do this, but I have to do it because that's what they planned.
Right.
And your own adventure. And how do you stick to your own plans
Yeah. And if
in
we
a
have a good,
world that's going cuckoo?
yes, we need to maintain our like the level of sanity we choose
Right.
to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Truth. That is truth. Choose your own insanity adventure. Yeah. So,
right. Right. I like a little bit delusion in the sense that it allows you to have that creativity, but I don't want to live in a world of delusion that's contained in fear.
I was going to say delusion can be happy and joyful and fun, or delusion can be just total fear and darkness.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's where they're trying to pull us back down that path of fear and darkness. And like you said, I rebuke you. No, no fear and
No,
darkness.
we're not doing that. No, sir.
Yeah, we're not doing
So
that.
no. So we have a question that if you're divining along with us with your own I Ching, I need to get a new deck, but I'll be using the visionary I Ching,
Hmm.
followed
I'm
by.
going to use this one, the Dow.
Okay, good. We'll have a good mashup.
Hmm.
Different
Yep.
perspectives here, different lenses, different translations, same origin. And we're going to be dividing of the I Ching to ask, what is the current state of the collective energy I'm moving through, especially in terms of distraction, pressure, and potential? And then, given this collective field, how can I personally move forward in the most appropriate and aligned way right now? So that feels supportive to me. And I'm really curious to see what results. So we're looking for two, each of us are going to have two energies present. One that is tuned into part one of that, and then the other to part two.
All right, I had two cards come out stuck together. I'm debating, should I keep them or should I?
How stuck were they?
They were, I thought it was one card, but it's two
So,
cards.
okay, so how would you do the bottom one is the number one and the top one is two, or how did it land?
They landed, well,
It
they
came out
landed
pretty
like,
fast.
yeah, they landed like this.
Yeah.
This was on the bottom.
Ooh, I think I would call that the first one, the bottom one. Whoa, the bottom one, the first one. That one catapults it out. Oh, okay, that's no
I'm gonna keep
surprise.
mine. I'm just gonna keep mine. My gut's saying just keep yours.
Yes, keep it. Okay, I got mine. So let's hear. Okay, so what is your first energy around
Number,
what is the current?
it's hexagram 3, and it
Mhm.
is difficulty in the beginning.
Okay.
Um, Growing pains, doubts and fears, awkwardness, becoming stronger, vulnerability, and inexperience are the keywords on this card. And it's, what is it? Water above and thunder. Let me see what this is. I always forget on this deck what his signs or
Yeah,
her
it's water
signs
above and
mean.
thunder below.
Okay, that's what I thought
Yeah.
it was. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so yours is difficulty at the beginning, hexagram 3, water above and thunder below. And my first energy is hexagram 61, which is centering in truth.
I like that. Look at this card. I kind of like this imagery too. It's someone hatching out
Yeah.
of a shell.
Yeah.
So immediately made me think of like a little baby chicken or something pecking
Yeah.
its way out, how hard it is at first, but then they get their bearings about them, everything's fine usually after that. So I think
Interesting.
we might be in the hen pecking stage right
Yeah.
now.
Well, look at the little animal in mine. Looks like a
Oh
little
yeah.
penguin
Oh, like
diving
a
down. What is that?
platypus or something. I don't know
Platypus
what
or
that.
penguin?
Maybe it's a penguin, but it has a tail like a fish.
It does. I don't know what that
Interesting.
is. It's some kind of bird. So should we just stick with our first one or give an overview?
I don't care. What's your
Okay.
second card? Tell me what your second one is.
Mine's hexagram 41, which is decrease,
Interesting.
and that's mountain above and lake below. So
Interesting. Decrease, huh? I
Yeah.
have resoluteness,
Ooh,
hexagram 43. I'm pretty sure that's lake over, I really cannot remember how we,
lake above and sky below.
sky below. Okay, yeah, I knew it was lake, but
Oh, interesting. Okay.
yeah. So
Well,
our
so
first cards
yeah.
would be what is the current state of the collective energy I'm moving through, and our second cards will address, given this field, how can we move forward in the most appropriate and aligned way. So
Yes.
these will be
Yes.
interesting.
Yes. And I have, doesn't look like I have that many change lines.
I have five, six. I have four, three, and two.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely go through yours first. I only have one change line. And I think what's interesting is mine has a lot of water, which is very like, that's really like career, life purpose,
Mm-hmm.
self-reflection. So that speaks a lot to me about how we're really trying not to lose ourselves and our purpose in the face of distractions.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, mine both have water on the top trigram.
Ooh,
I
okay.
have water and lake. So both water, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's pretty interesting to me too.
It's like a sandwich. Yours are on the top and mine are on the bottom. Mine are
Yeah.
both lakes. Yeah. Okay.
Well, like I always think of these trigrams, like the top trigram represents heaven or as
Mhm.
more esoteric, more, it's where everything is forming, right?
Yes.
Everything's energy. And as that energy condenses and comes down into our reality, so mine's water up above and yours is water as it comes
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Let's dial it in.
All right. You want me to read mine first?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Number three, difficulty at the beginning. What might seem like chaos and confusion around you or within you right now is actually a much needed jolt. It's funny it says that because I was just thinking today when I was listening about the UFOs and the hantavirus now. I was like, wait a minute, we're really going to go down this route again? Have we fallen back asleep? Have we gotten too comfortable again, people? We got to
Right.
be vigilant. We got to keep our eyes on what people are doing around us. But anyway,
Right.
it's becoming apparent that certain aspects of the life to which you become accustomed are dramatically being shaken up. Whether you think you're ready for it or not, the outgrown is already falling away, just as the smallest seed requires tremendous energy to break open. Once it does, it leaves the shell behind. Then, faced with innumerable challenges, it emerges from the darkness into the light. This happens in the right timing of things. In retrospect, you will see this as a birth that not only strengthened your ability to roll with the punches, but increased your capacity to endure difficult transitions. In the interim, though, you have every right to feel vulnerable and shaky, but don't let that stop you. Much of what was a source of security and protection is being buffeted to the point where it's difficult to know what you want, which way to move, or what is expected. This is amazing because this is really going completely into what our pre-chat was.
Yeah.
And there may be questions and doubts in many areas of life where once there was unshakable certainty. But feeling doubtful now is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, it is an inevitable part of the process of dismantling the old to clear the way for the new. However difficult or painful it may be, this is vitally important. This is a vitally important stage of growth. And it says, rather than feeling sorry for yourself or mourning what is lost, prepare to face the new challenges and possibilities that will soon appear on the horizon. Um, Once this particular journey begins, there is no turning back. This is goes on quite a bit longer, but I think we get the point of what it's saying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're noticing that shit's getting shaky again. Good for you. Buckle
Yeah.
up, buttercup. That's what
Yeah.
it's saying.
Michelle, this is like, well, we can talk a little bit about our pre-chat here, but it says Do not let events overwhelm you. As you take the first step, stay calm and ready to persevere. And it says, like a newborn fawn. We were talking about freezer fawn, right?
Fawning. Hmm.
Earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, like a newborn fawn, the opportunity for rapid development is there, yet it's only through determination that the fawn can rise to its feet and grow to full stature. Keep going despite difficulties, and you will find the success that you desire. So, in our pre-chat, we were talking about how do we, so this is the year of the fire horse, and we know part of that is visibility, not only for ourselves in the
Hmm.
fire area, but also seeing things for what they really are.
Hmm.
And so that disillusionment when you believe something to be one thing and then you realize it's something completely different, is
Yeah.
like depleting in a way. It can really shake you to your core. And that happens to a lot of people. We use the word waking up to things for what they really are. We've been so distracted that by everything in the last
6
era,
years.
yeah,
Hmm.
of time. And now that we're hold on, wait a minute, there's more that's happening here.
Yeah. But wait, there's more.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in this case, it's more bullshit. It's not necessarily a great deal on something. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
not good. Yeah, like yes,
Yeah.
we were in our pre-chat we were talking about how awakening really isn't the spontaneous happy event that it's portrayed to be.
Hmm.
Most times, like you said, I call it my rude awakening instead
Hmm.
of my great awakening. It was my
Yeah.
rude awakening in February of 2024, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
that shook my entire world and that showed me that nothing was what I thought it was from the tiniest, like most personal part of my life up into the macro, view of the world. Everything shifted. Um,
Yeah.
this is, and that is, this card is kind of pointing to that because it's saying, tune into the inner guide, the voice of truth that speaks from your intuition, which you cannot do if you have too many tabs open.
Yep.
It's another reason to close some tabs. Unfortunately, that's how some people in the world want us to be. They don't
Yep.
want us connected to our truth.
Yeah.
If you respect and stay in touch with its guidance, taking time to listen, you'll find it never fails to dispassionately reveal the next step. Patience, perseverance, and gentleness with yourself are essential now. Now is not the time to just put your head down and bulldoze your way through everything, right?
Hmm.
Like now is the time to maybe take a step back, ground yourself, kind of like let what's happening pass through your energy or through your awareness so you can get back to your chosen adventure. I
Hmm.
think that's kind of what this card is saying right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
And
so.
listen to this. This is amazing. Get into the spirit of adventure while
Oh,
taking
wow.
care while taking care not to put yourself or others at risk. There is much that needs to be attended to. It's the dawn of a new day, and you're more than ready to move on. If you weren't, the Tao wouldn't have provided this opportunity.
Ooh,
I
that's
have,
good.
I got goosebumps from that, especially the last line.
Yes.
Like so many times people write off these very bright, vivid signs from God or from the universe. Like, yes, you are ready. You can do this. And they shrink away from it and they lose the opportunity.
Hmm.
Now's not the time to do that.
Hmm. Yeah. Ooh, that's really good. So let's read our change lines before we do mine since I only have one.
Okay. So my change line 4 is when you've been driving along confidently in a certain direction and suddenly realize you're lost, you have two choices. You can stop and ask for directions, or you can aggressively push ahead and end up meeting a tow truck to get you out of the mud. It's your call.
Yeah.
So
Ask for guidance and support.
when all this stuff whatever is going to come out is going to come out, whatever it is, whatever comes up tomorrow or in a month or 10 months, whatever. Um, if it's rattling you, if you wake up and you realize, wait, I am in the wrong place, or I'm in the wrong mind state, or I am in whatever, it's not time to just, like I said before, put your head down and go through. Take a moment to stop, look around, and get your bearings before you make any decisions, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Line 3 says navigating the unpaved backcountry roads can be tricky. That puddle up there could be just that, a puddle, or it could be a washed out bridge that's going to land you in water above your head. Listen to the whisperings of your own intuition, and if there's a local around who can advise you, don't hesitate to ask. Again, talking about intuition, and in
Hmm.
order to be able to tune into your intuition, you have to close your tabs and practice. You have to practice listening to yourself. We're so used to
Hmm.
listening to everyone else to tell us how we should be, or how we should behave in the world, or what we need
Yeah.
to do in order to stay safe, whatever that means. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and that we don't say, wait a minute, let me tune into myself and hear what my inner self is saying, what my divine guidance is telling me.
So it's not necessarily asking for help or from guides or from mentors. It's asking of your highest self.
It is. And it also says if there's a local around who can advise, ask, right? So it's a combination of the two. And by a local, I feel like that means someone who really knows how to navigate this situation, right? So
Hmm.
like if the world goes crazy again, right? And I don't know, there's aliens or we're on quarantine or whatever
Hmm.
happens, just when world weird crap comes up. I am probably not going to be looking to those who, in the last series of weird events we had, like literally just stopped living.
Right,
And I know many people like that. They were
right,
overtaken by fear. And I'm not condemning them at all. I
right.
completely get it. That was a once in a hopefully lifetime event, although it doesn't seem like it's going to be. I get
Yeah.
it. But we all have learned that's not the right way to respond,
Hmm.
is through fear.
Hmm.
So I think that's what it's saying. So I would turn to someone who maybe thrived in that time frame. There were
Yeah.
people who thrived. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what asking a local is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that you referenced that because a lot of people during lockdown, myself included, took that as an opportunity to redo my foundations in my
Mhm.
business, in my life.
Really,
Um,
that was great timing for you when you think about it.
Amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it couldn't have been more perfect. Going through a divorce and starting up a business and that gave me the time to slow down to really focus and redo things like website and marketing and my
Hmm.
lifestyle and finding a way to work with kids while you have kids in the house to do your
Hmm.
business and stuff like that. But I know I wasn't the only one. That was a really great time for entrepreneurs to
Yeah.
really take advantage of that time instead of watching the news in fear the whole time, focus on themselves and
Right.
develop themselves. And so a lot of people came out of the pandemic leaving corporate and starting their own thing or
Hmm.
realizing that life is so short. Why am I still living it this way? I can live it a different way. Um,
Right.
so, you know, there is that balance there. And that was a crazy opportunity. And I think also it was the first awakening for many people to reconnect with nature and recognizing the signs and synchronicities in nature
Hmm.
that are like so loudly trying to communicate to us all the time. But everybody that was allowed to, that went outside, and I know I wasn't allowed to walk on the beach here. They closed our beaches, but
So
I could go
crazy.
for walks in the neighborhood. And
Yeah, that's so weird. You
so
could
weird,
walk in the
right?
neighborhood, but you couldn't walk on the beach.
On the beach. The beach was closed. Like what I think they didn't want like large crowds to gather, and which was really
Outside in
weird.
the fresh air and sunshine and
Ex
ocean
It doesn't
water.
make sense. Yeah, but we
No.
used to like walk to restaurants to get takeout. And then when people were getting takeout, which was right by the water, by the way, which was so beautiful where I live. And so we would get our takeout. Everybody would end up at the same restaurant for dinner. And then we would end up accidentally having a party in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then the police would be like, okay, guys, it's only supposed to be six people. You're supposed to be spaced apart and you're supposed to have your mask on and like these kind of things. But it really makes you like that's just so wild that we lived through that.
What
But
in the hell? Seriously, I think back about that time. I still don't. I'm still in shock about it. I
it's
still
so
haven't.
so weird. Like, do you remember going out to eat or trying to get into a museum or something like that and then realizing you don't have your mask? And so in the parking lot, you're like, hey, stranger, do you have any extra masks in your car? And like they'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, here's a mask. And so like there were times like I always kept disposable masks in my car for that reason, in case like somebody in my group forgot one or a stranger needed one. But that was
Mm-hmm.
our life. That's so weird.
It's so weird. I wasn't a great mask wearer.
Yeah.
I just couldn't, I get claustrophobic. I just was
Yeah,
not a good mask wearer. So I did
sure.
wear them, but not like I should probably, like not
Yeah.
all the time. And
Yeah.
also just being a realtor at the time, I wasn't home. I was out because people were like, if I have to be home, it's not going to be in this one. I need to move.
Right, exactly.
And luckily our governor declared, realtors to be essential. So we were still able to
Oh,
work.
yeah. That's
But
a
anyways,
blessing.
the whole thing was so freaking weird. So
Yes.
weird. I don't ever want to
Yes.
do that again. All right, I
Right.
have one more change line, number two. There
Okay.
are times when it's best to do nothing at all, even though that may feel a little uncomfortable. But the discomfort you might experience at the thought of taking a breather and waiting for the fog to clear is nothing compared to this discomfort you could engender if you were to plunge straight ahead into the thicket of brambles. And that kind of goes back with your fawn that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Stop and just kind of like,
Get your footing.
yeah, look around and take a deep breath. Yeah. Don't freeze. You're not like freezing and becoming paralyzed in fear. You're like a little baby fawn. You're just
Yeah.
going to assess your area and then get
Yeah.
your strength with you, about you, and then stand up. That's what you're going to do and then move forward.
Yeah. I know we talk about running a lot, but whenever I say the word fawn, I think about running because every time I would go out on a run, no matter how many years I was running, the first like 3 miles, I feel like I'm teaching myself how to run all over again. Like I'm a
Exactly.
like a baby fawn until like all my muscles and body like wake up and get into sync. I feel like I'm running like jumbly and not
Yeah, you're like,
coordinated.
are my feet right? Like, I feel
Is
weird.
my body supposed to
Or
be
like
forward
you
or
get a stitch in
backwards?
your side and you're like, well,
Yes.
something weird always happens. That first mile is a killer. The first
It's
mile. If
like
you can make it through
wobbly.
that, you're good.
Yeah. So in mine, I was like following along in my translation, and it says, in moving beyond obstacles, maintaining your autonomy is a high priority. So I think that's, as we talk about remembering who we are as we move through this collective energy, is like each of our own unique soul paths that we choose to be here, and they're all supposed to work together in some way. But
Mm-hmm.
remembering what our autonomy is versus the collective.
Exactly. That's a really good, that is a good contemplative, piece of contemplative information. I might have to think about that. Like,
Yeah.
you can be part of the collective, but you still have to be individual.
Yeah, like try to remember like your agreement of why you're here. And I think about that like just with you and me even like what in it about our soul contracts was like go find this person and do this deep work and then share it with everybody.
Right.
And we don't even live near each other,
No.
so
And I
how weird
didn't,
is that?
the only reason we met is because of someone else
Right.
introducing us.
Right.
So, yeah. Well, I just feel like there is there's a population out there that is going to hear what we are saying and it's going to hit them just right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I mean? So they don't feel alone. So they feel like they have a tribe. That was my problem for about 5 years or so. It's like I went through all these changes and I didn't feel like I had a tribe anymore. But now you're part of my tribe.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
I know.
smaller tribe, but it's a great tribe that I have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mhm.
So the first part, the energy that and we've gotten centering in truth a few times, I know. And I think you and I in our work were very much about truth. And what we're being shown right now can be what we're seeing to be our truth for many of us in our collective is disconcerting on a level.
Mhm.
And so it says centering in truth involves becoming conscious of the relationship between your heart and the circumstances of your life. So
Hmm.
we've been talking a lot about like the, yes, intellectual, we value our intellect and our mind, but really this heart-centered truth has been a theme that we've been investigating since we started doing this mashup.
Yeah.
And it requires connecting with the fundamental wisdom that is within you, within other people, and within all of nature. That's what we're all
Back,
about.
I know it's back to our intuition or whatever you want to call it, your higher self, your God, God speaking to you. It doesn't matter what you call it, it's all the same thing.
It's all the same thing, different, said in a different way.
And
And it says,
if you
yeah,
approach it from the right heart space, from, being aligned and from being connected, to God or to your source, whatever you want to call it, if you approach it in the right way, then your intuition is going to lead you properly.
yeah, yeah. It says truth becomes power to that point. Truth becomes power when you let go of prejudice and make yourself receptive to the world as it really is. And this
Mm-hmm.
is the kind of inner transformation that can produce a remarkably influential person, but it is difficult to achieve in the distracting modern world of false messages and fake friendships.
Say that
So
again. Read
did we
that one
just,
again.
it's like basically what we just said. Okay.
I'm going to hear it again, though.
This kind of inner transformation can produce a remarkably influential person, but it is difficult to achieve in the distracting modern world of false messages and fake friendships.
False messages, especially. Yeah.
It's only
Mm-hmm.
achieved by those who cultivate a genuine openness to the way things are and where I lost and possess a willingness to see into the heart of things rather than to merely look at its appearances. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
This
that's
This
very
is
common.
interest. This is in my book and it supports
Okay.
yours too, but it says truth is eternal and unchanging. It never grows old. It transcends the limitations of time and space, and the preoccupations and worries of the ordinary mind are nearly always in support of the ego and its illusions. In other words, your thoughts create your experience. How many times have we heard that?
Right. This is very much
Um,
a choose your own adventure based on
It
your
really
heart.
is. This says heaven and hell are both seeds in the mind, just waiting for you to think them into being.
Ooh. So I choose
Choose your adventure.
choose the heaven.
I mean, there might be like, some bad weather along the way or some bumps in the road. Stay on your path. Like we've all taken vacations that don't go as planned, but yet they're the best stories when you get home, right? Like, so
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly right about that. So my one change line, which is line 5, says unity is possible when the force of an integrated personality can radiate influence. Such a person guides through the power of suggestion. The prosperity that resides in this leader's heart affects others through their very existence. Basically, that's a wordy way of saying, like, be the change you want to see.
Yep. Yeah.
Really embody what you desire in your chosen adventure, and that becomes the reality. And attracts others into choosing that path if a better way, I think.
Hmm. And tying that back to, didn't you say something about, oh, let me think here. Like my line number 5 says, like a mirror, you are simply to reflect what is. So like I feel like my biggest struggle with life always happens when I try to, like, I look at something. Let's say I look at a person or something happening, and I
Mhm.
assign what I think are my values to it. And I try to, like, I'm not doing it purposely. Like, I'm not purposely
Yeah.
saying, oh no, we need to change it to look like this. This is where all suffering comes from, right? Like, we see
Yes.
something happening and for some reason our ego says, oh no, it's really like this, and we kind of smooth it over, right?
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
not as bad as you're seeing it, and our ego kind of smooths it over for us.
Yeah.
Whereas if we just, or big, it doesn't have to be bad, but like we always see the world through our own filters, and the more filters you can drop, the more clearly you can see exactly what's happening. I have a shirt that says, I love this shirt. Every time I wear it, I get so many compliments on it. It's just a t-shirt, but it says,
Yeah.
real eyes, realize,
Ooh.
real lies. So
Ooh.
real eyes,
Yeah.
realize, real lies. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's kind of saying like
Mm-hmm.
what we're saying with your change line here.
Mm-hmm.
Like you
Yeah.
have to see things for what they really are and just accept them. You can't change everything,
Right. Right. Yeah.
but you can succeed in any situation as
Yeah.
long as you're being truthful to yourself.
Yeah, and you can see things for what they are and just choose not to accept it into, I mean, you're accepting that that exists and that's not your path.
Not your circus, not your monkey.
Right, exactly. Like, okay, that's a mess. Not doing that today.
Yeah.
It says if to your point from our pre-chat too, we were saying, when I say this, you'll remember it. It says, if such a person is true at heart, coming into their circle of influence brings great good fortune. I think we were talking about even we always are encircling ourselves with people who are doing things for the greater and highest good. And we can see these visible truths for what they are, but also the people who are not doing things for the greatest and highest good are seeing things for what they really are for their own personal gain.
Yeah, I said just because you are awake or awakened, it doesn't mean you're using that power for good.
Right.
And I think we can, if you are also awake and seeing the world for what it is, that's the hardest truth, at least for me, especially when you're talking about people that are influencing your life. Like it could be anything from parents to the president,
Yeah.
or any world leader or any civic
Yeah.
leader. But when
Mhm.
you can see through things, the matrix, maybe, I don't know what you want to call it, but when you can see through all the play acting going on around you and you realize these people know damn well what they're doing. Because sometimes people do bad things or things that aren't so great and they don't realize what they're doing. They're truly not awake. But
Right.
then there are people who you go, wait a minute, this MFer's awake and he's still doing this, or she's still doing
Right.
this, or they're still doing it.
Right.
That that was such a hard truth for me to like accept, because in my ego and my world, like everybody was just here to make the world a better place. That's not
Right.
true. And
Right.
that's what kept me in my basement for 3 weeks, laying my
Yeah.
hands down and crying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and then the forward energy is talking about decreasing. So, given this collective field, how can I personally move forward in the most appropriate and aligned way right now? It lines very much up with what you were talking about, the baby fawn, and the change lines, but decreasing energy 41, which is mountain above and lake below. And let's see, just to sum it up, and I hope that if, when people are learning along with us, that they're starting to retain these hexagrams because I feel like I
Mhm.
really know these now for the years
Yeah,
that we've been doing them. And when I very first started studying I Ching, I was so disheartened because it's to me so overwhelming. And now, like, I almost feel we speak that way.
I
Um,
agree.
which
And
is
like this card,
pretty cool.
your card decrease. Most people, when they see that immediately, they go, "Ooh, decrease. That's never good." But the
Right.
card explains why it is good in a perfectly simple fact of life that if we don't
Yeah.
decrease, we can't increase. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean,
I just
decreasing.
got this card in a private reading
You
this
did?
week. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of, if you're of a feng shui mindset, it could be decluttering or getting rid of or closing out tabs, that type of thing. It says we live in materialistic times, but there's no disgrace in letting go of some of your assets. And this can be part of an investment in future gain, a gain that may come in the form of greater freedom, learning, or development of personal character. And it talks about the inner strength that comes from bearing and unanticipating loss can be balanced by an increase in inner strength and insight. And when letting go of material desires leads to greater simplicity in life, good fortune comes calling. I like that. And it
Mm-hmm.
also talks about letting go of frustration, resistance. You were talking about that too, and
Mm-hmm.
regret over what might be decreasing at this time, and seeing the larger picture and accept the ebb and flow of life cycles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The other thing too is in my book, we were talking about this in a reading I did earlier this week, but it says the Tao decreases and increases as it is needed, impersonally and on a grand scale. So just because you're being told or forced to maybe decrease something in your life, and
Mhm.
decrease doesn't mean necessarily something bad. It could just mean like close your tabs and go do some yoga or
Right.
meditate or something. It
Right.
doesn't mean like you're going to lose everything,
Mhm.
but it's the thing to remember is it's impersonal. You're not being punished. It's being done for you, not
Mhm.
to you. And you should take the time to really listen and go, okay, what am I supposed to be learning right now?
Yeah. That's a great way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so reflecting back on today's our reading and our what we divined here in our mashup, it says, "What is the current state of the collective energy I'm moving through, especially in terms of distraction, pressure, and potential?" Just reflecting back on that, and then given this collective field, how can I personally move forward in the most appropriate and aligned way right now?
And that's our
So.
second cards that we're reading right now. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. So I think this was really helpful. I mean, this was helpful for me. I hope that everybody's able to listen and work through this with us. And if you're mashing up with us at home and you pulled your own inspiration or your own hexagram or, what are those? Maybe a tarot card or whatever.
An oracle card or
Or an
something.
oracle card, yes. That's also part of the language and your empowered way to reflect for yourself. So I think that would be a good idea to hear in the comment section um, of our video, if you're watching in video, or you can let us know and connect with us in email. What is this conversation for you? What do you see this through
Mm-hmm.
your lens? I think that would be really neat to hear.
And one closing note.
Yeah.
My second card is 43, resoluteness.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Oh,
just
we
want to
didn't do
read,
yours yet?
I don't think
We
so, but
just
I
did your
just wanted
change
to read,
lines. Yeah.
yeah, I just want to read these two lines. It says, however many rivers you have already crossed, a time will arrive when your tenacity and inner resolve will be again put to the test. So again,
Mhm.
don't take it personal. Look at it as a growth opportunity. And it
Mhm.
says, be as creative as possible and stay very alert while plotting a course through this minefield of difficulties. So there obviously is a way through it, and it's not by being fearful. You have to be
Mhm.
resolute. When you find yourself in a crisis where everything seems to point of a breakdown, avoid reacting aggressively, getting defensive, or trying to combat the problems ahead. Like
Ooh.
go around them. It's a minefield. Don't combat them. Find your own way, basically. The more you struggle with this minefield, the more you'll be sucked in. So stay off social media and away from bad news.
Yeah. Yeah. I was watching, I wanted to watch it on Netflix to see if it was something I could show my kids, but Lord of the Flies series, and it
Hmm.
was on Netflix, and I was like, oh, that you can't find that book in schools anymore. Like I think it's on the ban list.
I know.
So I wanted to show that to my kids. And as traumatizing as that was to read, it's just like I read that, I think in like Anne Frank and some things that talked a lot about human nature I was like 12 or 13
Hmm.
at the time because I remember I really connected with the children in these stories, like and the adult consequences they had to face,
Yeah.
even though their parents would have preferred to have sheltered them. So I thought this is good for me to watch. And I watch it, and it is, I think, safe to show my kids. But one part of it, that I watched like the making of the film and how the director had to direct the children to do these adult conversations. So
Hmm.
he did this little mini coaching with one of the little child actors and to try to explain to him courage and bravery. And every person who is courageous and brave, they start out the most fearful you can possibly be, which is like in your weakest moment, but they're able to push through, even messy, to say what they need to say or stand up to what they need to stand up to. And it doesn't look pretty. It's like,
But it
it,
is authentic.
it's authentic. Yeah. And so I thought that was, you know, relatable to this conversation in some way too, is just because you are like sometimes up late at night or crying in a corner because of the state of something, or you realize you've seen a truth and it's disrupting your life, that doesn't mean that you're not the most courageous person
Right.
or getting
I think
stronger because of it.
I think your kids are so lucky that you're going to be teaching them these things as they grow up, because that's why the world is the way it is, because there aren't many parents that teach their kids this growing up. We're all just stuck in this loop of, no, this is how you do it. This is how things are done, right? And you're not like that. And I
Oh,
love
thank
and
you.
I love that.
Yeah, I do think that you and I both, and this is appropriate because it's Mother's Day weekend that we're recording this, but I do think that we do live a very choose your own adventure life path. And I think that's reflected in our children's lives too, that, it's not do things like me or you only have this one path that's ahead of you
Yeah. Well,
and it's
that's a
sheltered.
recent development for me, unfortunately for my children, because they're all grown, but
Yeah.
your kids are growing up with it,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yes, we'll
Hmm.
see. I mean, they do, and I don't let them watch these things in isolation. It's going to be a big conversation, um,
Hmm.
that they see these, or read these books or watch these films or whatever to be able to have the conversations about these concepts. But it's very relatable to what we're going through right now. Like
In the world, yeah.
yeah, we're all almost like little children dropped on an island and figuring things out and like creating a new society, um,
Hmm.
in some way. So yeah, anyway, this was a really good and timely reading for me, I think.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. Like always, big
Yeah.
sigh at the end of it. So, but yeah, this is good. I'd say, we're keeping that door open if you want to reach out to us for questions or how to get involved or resources. And
Join us for our pre-chat.
exactly, join us for a pre-chat or as a participant in the program. We would love that.
Yeah. I think we should have like a non-disclosure for people to sign for our pre-chat.
Right. That's part of it. Yes, be prepared because
It's pretty real in there.
what happens in the pre-chat stays in the
Stays in
pre-chat.
the pre-chat.
Yeah,
That could be
exactly.
the whole disclosure right there.
Right, exactly. Yes, you're involved. All right. Well, let's close it out with that. Yeah, I don't remember any of our beautiful closings that we've been working on, but Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. We'll
Yeah.
talk to you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on I Ching Mashup with Michele and Lisa. If today's conversation sparked something in you, sit with it, journal on it, or pull your own hexagram and see what answers arise. Until next time, keep listening for the wisdom beneath the noise. We're Michele and Lisa, and we'll see you in the next mashup.